So, good afternoon. Our last session before you get to break for some lunch. And we've also got one of our least likely techies today. Chatri is a martial arts expert. So to kick off, perhaps for each of us, just give us a couple of sentences about your businesses.
Sure. My name is Chatri. I'm the founder and CEO of One Championship, which is Asia's largest sports media property, broadcast in 132 countries, 2 billion potential viewers around the world.
Ray?
I'm Ray, CEO and co-founder of Nike. We make people happy. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty clear mission for any company. Start by talking about, you both started very, very locally and how you've gone. Ray, do you want to start talking about how you began and how you've built up to where you are now?
Yeah. We started the website in 2008. So it's a ninth anniversary for us, for Nike. It's not a pun. Yeah, and then it was just a website for us because what we wanted to do at that time was how can we share funny pictures easily with our friends? Yeah, and then but gradually we see that hey, how come most people they started to use website, not using website that much, but use mobile app. Then we make our app. And then we see that, hey, they just stay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Not Twitter anymore, but Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, right? Then we also distribute our content on these other social media platform. Yeah.
And Chatri, you're in over 130 countries now. What was your route to getting there?
Well, when I started One Championship, I had a very simple thesis. You know, every region of the world has several multi-billion-dollar sports media properties. So if you go to North America, you have NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NASCAR. These are all worth several billion to $30 billion a piece. You go to Europe, it's the same thing. You have F1, EPL, Bundesliga, Spanish La Liga, Champions League, all worth several billion to $30 billion a piece. You come to Asia, there's literally nothing on a pan-Asian basis, except for One Championship. They have IPL in India, which is a billion-dollar cricket league. You have China Super League, also successful soccer league in China. You have Japanese baseball, a billion-dollar business. But you have nothing on a pan-Asian basis that unites 4.4 billion people around one sports property.
Right. What are some of the problems once you start to go to different countries? I mean, you've got various rules, whether they're cultural, sort of whatever, censorship in different countries. How do you cope with all the different nuances in some of the different markets that you're in?
So I'll take that. I mean, we throw live events all over Asia, and then we broadcast it to 132 countries around the world. When we enter a country, we have to be very, very sensitive with the government, with the business community, with the martial arts community. So just let me reverse. One Championship is, for those of you who don't follow us yet, it's basically the Olympics of martial arts, basically having the best world champions, best fighters come onto our platform and compete and showcase their skills to the world. And so we enter all the different countries and we throw live events, which will have anywhere from small side 5,000, big side 20,000 people in attendance. We have to be sensitive when we go into a new country. We have to be, win over the government, win over the business community, the martial arts community, the mainstream community as well. So it's a collective effort being sensitive. I mean, if you go to Malaysia, it is a Muslim country. You go to Thailand, it's a Buddhist country. You go to Singapore, it is a mixed melting pot, Western international cosmopolitan city. So we have a lot of customization with every country, every city we go to.
I think for us it's easier because no matter where you are, people still want to see funny cats and dogs and other funny stuff, right? So it's easier because we are all about fun and entertainment. Yeah, but I think what we see is that when the community grows, definitely there are some cultural differences. For example, some countries, as he just mentioned, maybe they are more religious than other countries, right? And some countries, they are very sensitive to some topics like Hitler, right? But other than people who got hurt by Nazi Germany, right? And then other people just see Hitler as as a funny guy because of the YouTube video where you can just change the subtitle, right? That kind of stuff. I think that is a big differences in different countries as well.
Okay, how about fan bases? I mean, particularly in sports, obviously you have big following. But in entertainment too, it's quite interesting because you've got whether it's the calls in China, people have a following. How much, maybe Chatri, you can start, is your following and building up that fan base important to your business?
Yeah, absolutely critical. So, you know, our mission at One Championship, you know, we don't view ourselves as, hey, we throw on fights. We actually view ourselves as we unleash superheroes who ignite inspiration, hope, dreams, and strength across the continent. So we try to find the very, very best martial artists and unearth them and give them a platform. And so whether they're from Thailand, whether they're from Japan, whether they're from Korea, China, Vietnam, or Myanmar, we want to showcase the very, very best talent on our platform. And so it's all about celebrating what I call Asia's greatest cultural treasure. Martial arts is actually, you know, the history of martial arts is, Asia's been the home of martial arts for 5,000 years. It is our greatest cultural treasure. And so I want to honor it by creating these superheroes who live and express and exemplify the values of honor, integrity, courage, strength, discipline, a warrior spirit to conquer adversity in life. And when you see these guys, they ignite so much inspiration, because why are you a professional fighter in the first place in Asia? It's because you were born in the bottom rung of society, because you're the poorest. You had no education, you have no ability to escape poverty. But yet you have the stories of Manny Pacquiao. Why is Manny Pacquiao a legend in Philippines? Whenever he fights, the entire country literally stops to watch him. 90 million people. And he's probably going to end up being president of Philippines one day, right? The reason why is because he used to be a street kid, a poor street Manila kid, and now he's a 10-time world champion. And that's something that can inspire anybody from all walks of life.
I think what we see is, as I mentioned, all people love funny stuff, right? But when we get older, when we get a wife or husband or kids, or you have to buy a house, then you started to don't spend that much time on fun. Yeah, I think luckily for us, most of our audience are very young. Yeah, they are below, I think 90% of them are below the age of 34. That's why they spend a lot of time on funny stuff. Then the question is, where do they get to see funny stuff? Until these days, if you go to Google and search funny pictures, all the pictures are not that funny. Yeah. And then that's the problem that we tried to solve at the very first beginning. And then the second problem that we are trying to solve was, hey, if I have some funny pictures, how can we get more people to see it? That's why we put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram. And then whenever there's a new platform, then we just try to understand how that platform works, and then we just distribute the content submitted by our users to those platforms as well. Yeah, that's how we continue to get 36 million fans on Facebook, 41 million followers on Instagram. That's how we do it.
That's quite an interesting point on the younger people. I mean, we've heard a few times at Rise that it's no longer about being from Myanmar or America. It's about being a millennial. It's about the age. How much, Ray, do you think that is a thing, that the unifying thing is not what country you're from, but actually what age group you're falling into?
Yeah, one of the so-called insights that we have is it's not really about millennials. Even older generation, they are all the same. All the same in the sense that before you graduate from school, you live a very similar life. How to get a girlfriend, how to get rid of your girlfriend, how to finish our homework, or how to cheat without teachers knowing it, right? This is the common, not first world, but global problem of the students, right? This is that's why they resonate with each other very much. Yeah. And for us, we are lucky in the sense that, hey, because of Facebook, because of all those social networks, that is connecting people from different parts of the world. I think that helps this kind of resonate, common jokes that can spread really, really quickly. Yeah.
Chatri, what do you find age group with martial arts? Is it a sort of wider, or is there an age element in that?
No, actually, we had Nielsen do a demographic study, and we actually have 80% of our viewers are millennial. So it's really hit a sweet spot. And I think it's because the content is so fast-paced, so exciting, so hard-hitting, if you will. And at the same time, it's done in a very millennial format with lights and sounds and lasers and fireworks. And it really is it's almost like a rock concert, a pop concert, mixed in with martial arts. And martial arts is actually mainstream. If you look at who's the biggest celebrity, whether you look at Facebook or whatever it is in Asia, it's Jackie Chan. He's got 56 million followers on Facebook. It's Bruce Lee, it's Jet Li, it's Donnie Yen. Our heroes as Asians are martial artists, and martial arts is our global export to the world. So that's the way I view martial arts and what One Championship's doing.
Okay, how when you get this kind of loyalty, how can you translate that regional loyalty into the next market? How does that sort of ripple through?
So for us, again, we are all about unleashing superheroes across the continent. And some superheroes end up becoming massive national stars, and others become global superstars. So it really depends. We have a world champion named Angela Lee. She's the youngest world champion in the history of mixed martial arts at 19 years old, and today she's 21. And she is not only a phenomenal fighter, an unbelievable, she would literally take out 99% of the men here, she's only 21. But literally she is an unbelievable fighter, but she is so sweet. She has a, I always joke around, like outside of the fighting arena, she has a Hello Kitty heart. She's literally like just the sweetest little girl, and you can never imagine that. And so she's become a global phenomenon. She's on CNN, she's on BBC, she's on CNBC, etc., because it's so fascinating to have a 21-year-old world champion who is an absolute monster and beast in the fighting arena, but yet outside she's this, heart of gold, super smart, intelligent, strong woman. And I think that's, so she's really resonated because she's almost the face of women empowerment now in Asia.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ray, what have you seen in terms of kind of regional loyalty or sort of cats in Myanmar having the same following in other parts?
I think what we see is, because I think no matter where you're from, right, look at your phone. You must have some social networking apps. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. If you are younger, you have Snapchat. If you pretend to be younger, you also have Snapchat, right? I think those are the things. It's kind of like a layer on top of the mobile device. What we see is that we are also a layer on top of that kind of layer. So mobile device, and then a social network, and then media, right? I think the good thing, we're lucky in the sense that, hey, for media, it can transcend borders, right? As long as your content is good, then people will love it. Yeah, look at a lot of content. For example, some content we see on iGet is a commercial from Thailand. It's very touching, it's very scary, it's very funny, and stuff like that. Someone will add subtitle to it, and then people in the US, they will love it as well. I'm not sure whether you still remember PPAP, Pen, Pineapple, Apple Pen, right? Yeah. He was just a Japanese artist at the time, and then we shared one of his video on our Facebook page, and then we helped him to get 70 million views in a week. And then right now, not right now, but before, he was like a global phenomenon. Yeah. I think these days, when the internet is so connected, somehow we see that the talents from different parts of the world, they can also have a chance, have a stage to become globally famous and globally popular. Yeah.
What is a strategy for going global? I mean, do you almost pick off market by market, take the low-hanging fruit first, the easiest, most similar? Or do you say, now we've got this much scale, we'll go into the next sort of ring? What's the actual way, Chatri, perhaps you can start, that you go from 1 to 130? Or...
Right. So for us, it's a very iterative process. The beauty of social media, the beauty of the internet is that you can track all the data. So we know where all the fans are coming from. And before we enter a country, we have a pretty good idea of how our content is resonating. On top of it, we're broadcast on all the free-to-air channels across Asia, as well as paid TV on Fox Sports, on MNC, on MediaCorp, et cetera. So every week, we're on several hours a week at a minimum, and in some countries we're on TV several hours a day. So the spectrum of media consumption in Asia ranges anywhere from mobile devices all the way to old school free-to-air TV. And we're distributed across all platforms, and that's how we view ourselves as being device agnostic, platform agnostic, having our content distributed everywhere. And I forgot your question. Sorry.
Just if you go market by market,
right.
Or you sort of
so again, it's all iterative. We get all that data, and we know, okay, our TV ratings are really strong in Myanmar, or TV ratings are really strong in Thailand or whatever, and so we're able to throw events to really connect all the dots.
Yeah, I think what we do is totally opposite. Yeah, because I think we were 5 stupid guys that's trying to share funny pictures in 2008, right? So we didn't really think that long term. And in fact, in the first 4 to 5 years, we didn't even work on iGet full time. We just work on it on Saturday and then just see some funny pictures and then we share it with our friends, yeah. And then, but right now what we see is, I think we are lucky in the sense that most of the teenagers in the world, they kind of understand English, yeah. And also, for funny stuff, you don't have to really understand the local languages to really get the joke, yeah. And indeed, sometimes because you don't understand the language, that's why it's funny. A lot of Thailand cartoon or action movies, it looks like a joke to most other users from other parts of the world. I think that kind of cultural differences also help us to grow internationally. I think we always tell our community team is we are kind of like an international school. So no matter where you are, somehow at this time you communicate in English. But the topics that you talk about is pretty common, no matter where you are from. Of course, down the road, we want to go deeper in local market. By that time, the general principle is still the same. It's hey, whenever our users are, then we go there, right? And then we try to use data. We try to use sixth sense, like a sense. Hey, because somehow for content, it's kind of like an arts and science combination, right? We do that, and then we just serve our users the best content on the platform that they're already on.
One thing that, Chatri, is interesting from what you're saying is, I mean, from your business model, we're seeing an awful lot now of the online world melding back with the offline world. So whether it's things like Alibaba with retail, so you've got e-commerce and your physical stores. Obviously, your business model is very much focused on the real world and, as you say, the Olympics of martial arts. How much is that part of a thing that is very easy then to take overseas to go global, when it's got a sort of real physical thing as well as live streaming, which, as Ray's pointing out, is very easy to take
that's
borders.
a very powerful point. That's our entire business model right there, is that we want people to be able to experience our content and be inspired by their heroes every day of the week, whether it's mobile, whether it's free to air, whether it's pay TV. And then, every 6 months we're going to be in the largest stadium with your heroes competing. So again, when I first started this thing 6 years ago, I had a very simple thesis. I said, look, every region of the world has multi-billion-dollar sports media properties. Only Asia doesn't. Why can't we have our own EPL? Why can't we have our own F1? Why can't we have our own NBA, NFL? All these things are, $30 billion giants. And so that was the genesis. And I chose martial arts because, I've been doing martial arts for 30 years as a student, as a fighter, teacher, coach, etc. But I also chose martial arts because it's Asia's greatest cultural treasure. And I wanted to showcase it to the world.
Ray, have you got any sort of ability where you're sort of bring what you're doing online into the real world? Physical world, I should say.
For us, we haven't done a lot of offline stuff because we believe that online is still the fastest and also the most cost-effective way to reach existing audience and also a new audience, right? But I think I envy what he just mentioned is that he can mix his passion into his career. For me, I'm not a funny guy. Yeah, I love funny pictures and videos from time to time, but I don't create jokes. Yeah, so people always come to me whenever they have interview or conferences. Say, hey, Ray, tell me a joke. What is the latest funny things that you like? And then I tell them, hey, what I like, and then they don't really understand what I mean. Yeah, so I think it's very different. Yeah, but what we try to, one thesis or one principle that we believe is there's so many talented people in the world. There's so many great creators. Nike doesn't have to be another creator. What we try to do is, hey, how can we help these creators to get more audience, right? So that down the road, we can help them to monetize their content so that they can make their passion as a living, right? This is the direction that we want to go. And then maybe down the road, we will have conferences that gets all the funny people in the world, do a, marathon of stand-up comedy, maybe like that, right? But we haven't thought about that, yeah.
Just wondering if from both, what you're both saying, if this is in a sense sort of Asia's moment, because Mr. Pineapple Pen, I doubt would ever have got anywhere without live streaming. And like you say, martial arts has been around in Asia for, centuries and millennia, but it's only now. Is this a moment that thanks to live streaming, thanks to the internet, we can actually say these are Asian things, and look, they're everybody's good. So as Ray says, the kid in the American school is saying, hey, look what's come out of Singapore, look what they're doing in Thailand.
Yeah. So I say this is like, Asia has Asia has over 57% of the world's population, but only 9% of the world's global brands. So I really believe as an entrepreneur, man, I wish I could replicate myself, 10 of myself, because I would start so many different businesses, because this is Asia's century. This is Asia's time. There's no question about the opportunity because of the fact that we have the internet, we have technology, and if you're able to meld content like the way we are doing, I mean, it's literally, you're going to be a global platform. So I think it's a rare moment in history, And I happen to choose the platform that my greatest passion in life, which is martial arts. He chooses funny stuff, but it's literally we're global properties as a result of technology.
Yeah, there is a joke on Nightget is no matter how good you are good, no matter what you do and you're good at something, right? There's always an Asian who does it better than you. Yeah. Yeah.
You are a funny guy.
This is a joke that is on our community, right? But to me, it's not whether comparing different races. It's more about, I think there are Asians that are not talented, right? They have no way to become a superstar no matter how good the platform is. But the thing is, in the past, there are some hidden gems in different countries, right? If you look at it globally, hey, how come there are, when you think about Hollywood, movie stars, how come all guys are from the US, or most guys are white guys or black guys, right? How come Asians, they still get paid lower salary, right? To be honest, I don't think that's fair, but somehow we don't really care about that, to be very honest. What we care about is, hey, if we can create that stage for creators, no matter where you're from, and then you can just step on that stage and reach the audience that you deserve, I think that's what we really, really want to do. To be very honest, when you look at PPAP or when you play some games that you really like, you don't really care where it is from. As long as it's fun, I play it. Even if you tell me it's made in USA, but your game is crap, I won't play it. Yeah, I think younger generation, they're less political, they're less national, right? What they really want is, hey, whether you are fun, whether your content is worth my 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? I think as a media company, what we are trying to do is we figure out what's valuable for the users. Of course, I'm happy that there are more Asian entrepreneurs, but to be very honest, if you're a piece of crap, I don't really care about you're Asian or not. Yeah.
And oddly enough, one of your biggest communities is in Germany, right?
Yes.
Which seems a bit bizarre at first blush.
I don't know. I think whenever we tell people that we have one of our largest user bases in Germany, people always think that this is funny. Yeah, because they always think that German is so serious, right? But I think 2 years ago I was in Munich, and then we had a gathering, and then we just posted on Facebook, and then we got about 200 people coming to the beer hall, and then we treat them a beer, right? They are all adults, yeah. And then yes, you have to disclaim that. Yeah. The thing is, and then I asked them, hey, why do you guys like Nightget? And they said, on one hand, because the pronunciation of Nightget is pretty German, if you know German. Yeah, I don't know why, but nine, that means no, I assume, yeah. And then this is one thing. Second thing is, that's what they told me is, hey, if you have a nation that always drink beer, that nation should be quite funny, right? Because we know that what kind of funny things that drunken people do, right? I think then I feel like, hey, maybe this is the reason why most people don't understand German is indeed very, very funny. Yeah.
Chatri, do you have any unusual markets that you're very popular in that you wouldn't have expected at first to be big?
Yeah. So Myanmar is crazy. We just 2 weeks ago, Myanmar crowned its first world champion in any sport in the history of the country, literally, with one championship. So a guy named Ong La and Sang, because Myanmar's been a closed economy, a closed society, except for the last several years. So they've never competed in the Olympics, they've never done anything. And so the nation was starved for heroes. They've never had a national hero on the global stage. And so when this guy won, the entire country literally was watching it live, and they were cheering. And unfortunately, we heard of incidents of some old guy dying of a heart attack watching the fight, and the champion, literally the next day went to the funeral. But but that was shocking. It's very organic, But I think Asians are starved for heroes, real heroes. Why is it that Manchester United or David Beckham? Why is that our favorite team, favorite player? That has nothing to do with Asia. Why let it be the real heroes, the real Jackie Chans, the real Bruce Lees of the world, who can inspire the entire continent.
Great. Well, listen, I think it's been really, really interesting talk. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Funny guy and sports guy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.